They lied to you, plain and simple. The media, the haters, the Twitter trolls, they all looked you in the eye and told you Caitlin Clark was finished. They said the injuries were too much. They said the sophomore slump of 2025 was actually a career-ending spiral. They said she was too fragile for the WNBA. Well, guess what? They were wrong. Dead wrong. And what happened at Team USA camp this week wasn't just a practice. It was a massacre. Listen to me closely, because the mainstream sports networks are too scared to say this out loud. Caitlin Clark didn't just return to the court, she ended the debate. She walked into that gym after 5 months of silence and absolutely smoked everyone. And I mean everyone, including a certain someone named Angel Reese. We are going to get into the Angel Reese situation in a minute because let me tell you, it is looking ugly for the Chi-Town Barbie. But first, you need to understand what actually happened behind those closed doors. The footage doesn't lie. Coach Kara Lawson tried to downplay it. She gave the typical coach speak. She said, quote, "She looked good on both ends." Look, that is code. That is a polite way of saying Caitlin Clark just embarrassed the best players in the world. This wasn't a rehab assignment. This was an execution. Before we dive into the secret tapes from Duke University, do me a massive favor. Hit that like button and subscribe. We're tracking every move of the Indiana Fever's new dynasty, and you don't want to be the last to know. The dark year of 2025. To understand why this comeback is so shocking, we have to look back at the nightmare that was 2025. After a rookie year where Caitlin Clark broke 52 records and single-handedly saved the league's ratings, everything fell apart. It started with a quad injury in May, then the ankle, then the absolute heartbreaker on July 15th, a right groin strain in the closing minute against the Connecticut Sun. She tried to rehab, she tried to push through, but by September 4th, the official word came down. Caitlin Clark was ruled out for the remainder of the season. She played only 13 games. 13. The basketball world started whispering. You heard it on the podcasts and the talking head shows. Was she a one-hit wonder? Is her body built for the pro game? Clark admitted it was isolating. She spent months in the shadows while other players took the spotlight. But while she was gone, something else was brewing in Indiana. The front office made a move that changed everything. They brought in the enforcer. They brought in Sophie Cunningham. In February of 2025, the Indiana Fever pulled off a massive 4-team trade to land Sophie Cunningham. At the time, people questioned the price. Giving up Nalissa Smith and the number 8 pick seemed steep, but Amber Cox knew something the rest of the world didn't. Caitlin Clark didn't just need another shooter. She needed a bodyguard. Sophie Cunningham, the girl from Missouri with the show-me-something attitude, was the perfect fit. Even though Sophie's own season was cut short by a brutal MCL tear in August, the bond she formed with Caitlin in the training room was ironclad. Insiders say Sophie was the one in Caitlin's ear during those long days of rehab. She was the one telling her to ignore the haters. When Caitlin walked into the Team USA camp this December, she didn't look like a nervous sophomore. She looked like she had been taking lessons from the toughest player in the league. She was meaner. She was more aggressive, and she was ready to take back what was hers. Now, let's talk about what actually happened at Duke University this week. The stakes were at an all-time high. This wasn't just a friendly get-together. This was the audition for the 2026 World Cup in Germany and the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Every coach, every scout, and every legend, including Sue Bird, was watching Caitlin's every move. Caitlin admitted she was nervous. She said, quote, "I feel like when I touched the basketball to start warming up, that is when I felt pretty comfortable." Comfortable? That is the understatement of the century. She wasn't just comfortable, she was lethal. She was hitting step-back threes from 30 feet out like she never left. Her court vision wasn't just back, it was upgraded. It's like the time off allowed her brain to process the game at a higher speed. She was finding Aaliyah Boston on backdoor cuts before Aaliyah even knew she was open. But the real drama started when the rotation shifted and Angel Reese was matched up against the Clark-led unit. This is where the story gets uncomfortable for some people. The media loves the Clark versus Reese rivalry. They want it to be a back-and-forth battle for the face of the league. But in Durham, the truth was exposed. There is a massive gap in how these two players impact the game at the international level. Team USA under Caitlin Clark is a high-octane machine. It's a Ferrari. And as the old saying goes, you can't put tractor tires on a Ferrari. Angel Reese thrives in a muddy, slow-down physical game. She wants to rebound and put back misses. But when Caitlin is pushing the tempo, Reese looked completely out of sync. She looked lost in the transition defense. Insiders are reporting that the coaching staff was visibly frustrated with the lack of mobility in the front court when Reese was on the floor. While Caitlin was making Jackie Young look like an MVP, Reese was struggling to finish at the rim against the size of the veteran defenders. The body language was telling. Reese was demanding the ball in the post, but the system was moving too fast for her. Sue Bird was sitting courtside for all of this. As the managing director, she is the one who ultimately decides the future of this program. And you could see it on her face. She was watching the official passing of the torch. The Diana Taurasi era is officially over. The Sue Bird era is a memory. This is the Caitlin Clark era now. Sue said seeing Caitlin back was a big deal and noted that her rhythm was completely back. When the greatest point guard in history says you're ready, you're ready. But it's not just about the skill, it's about the gravity. When Caitlin is on the floor, the defense panics. They collapse on her the second she crosses half court. This opens up massive lanes for players like Jackie Young and Aaliyah Boston. In one specific sequence, Caitlin grabbed a rebound, turned, and fired a full-court touchdown pass to a sprinting Jackie Young. It was flawless. It was boringly perfect, as one analyst put it. And that is what makes her terrifying. She makes the impossible look like a routine drill. Wait until you hear this, because this is the information the mainstream media won't give you until next year. Leaks from inside the coaching staff suggest they have already identified their death lineup for the 2026 World Cup in Germany. And if you're an Angel Reese fan, you might want to look away. The projected starting five is Caitlin Clark at the 1, Jackie Young at the 2, Kalia Copper at the 3, Derica Hamby at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5. That is the unit. That is the gold medal squad. Notice who is missing? Angel Reese isn't even in the top 6. There are even whispers that she might not make the final 12-player roster at all. The Olympic Committee doesn't care about TikTok followers or podcast downloads. They care about point differentials and gold medals. Right now, Angel Reese is a square peg in a round hole. She tried to tell reporters that she's happy being a role player, saying, quote, "Rebound, and that is it. That is all you got to do." But even in that role, she's being outshined by the speed and versatility of players like Hamby and Boston. What this means for the Indiana Fever in 2026 is nothing short of a revolution. We have Caitlin Clark at 100% health. We have Aaliyah Boston coming off an incredible showing at camp. We have the veteran leadership of Sophie Cunningham and the addition of stars like Natasha Howard. The chemistry between Clark and Boston is telepathic at this point. They spent the entire 2025 season learning how to read each other, even when Caitlin was on the bench. They share a brain. When Caitlin looks at the rim, Aaliyah is already moving to the glass. When Caitlin sees a double team coming, she knows exactly where Aaliyah is going to be. This isn't just a team, it's a system. And with Stephanie White at the helm, the Fever are no longer just the team with the rookie. They are the team to beat. They have the shooting, they have the size, and most importantly, they have the enforcer mentality that Sophie Cunningham brought from Phoenix. So here is the bottom line. The injuries of 2025 didn't break Caitlin Clark. They refined her. She used that time to study the game, to build her strength, and to find the right teammates to help her carry the load. The massacre at Team USA camp was just the opening act. The rest of the world is officially on notice. A happy, healthy, and slightly angry Caitlin Clark is a cheat code that no defense can solve. But I have to ask you, be honest with me in the comments. Do you think the coaching staff is right to leave Angel Reese off the starting lineup? Is the chemistry between Clark and Boston enough to win gold in Germany? Or does Team USA need Reese's rebounding to survive? Let me know your thoughts right now. And before you go, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps us keep the lights on and keep these investigative reports coming. Subscribe and turn on all notifications because tomorrow we're dropping a deep dive into the Sophie Cunningham contract situation and why 3 expansion teams are trying to steal her away from Indiana. You do not want to miss it. Number 22 has the keys to the kingdom, and the dynasty is just getting started.